Come and dream with me.
Hello, welcome to What Do You Want to Watch, the Explosion Network's premier media podcast. Every week we get together to talk about TV, movies, and online content. Help you answer the question, who was really surprised that Donald Trump is upset about the Donald Trump movie? I don't think anybody is. I'm your host, Ashley Hobley. Joining me today, Dylan Blight.
I'm more shocked it took him as long as it did to get annoyed about it, I guess.
Yeah, so no, actually my favorite story about this is one of the investors invested in the movie thinking it would be a more flattering version of Trump, and then has been proceeded to get very upset that it's the version that it is.
Well, yeah, apparently it's got him, all the bad things, all the hitting on,
yeah,
grab him right in the pussy and all that sort of stuff.
No, there's a scene where it's insinuated that he raped his first wife.
Yeah,
and that's the tip of the iceberg, though. So
that is the tip of the iceberg.
So yeah, look forward to talking about that in the future if it comes out. On today's show, we'll be talking about what's in our watch history, going over maybe some film news, giving some thumbs to trailers, and giving this week's top 3. Big movie release of this week, Furiosa, the prequel to Mad Max Fury Road, the latest entry in George Miller's Mad Max universe, eagerly anticipated, 9 years in the making. Jason Cook wrote a review for ExplosionNetwork.com and said, if you're expecting something similar to Fury Road, lower your expectations. However, it's still a great film that needs to be seen on big screen. There's more story, more depth, but less action and no Max. And gave it a 7 out of 10. Dylan, does that sum up your feelings about Furiosa?
No. I think I've seen that sentiment, I guess, on ExplosionNetwork.com.
I would actually dispute some of the comments in that summary as well, I think that some of those factually wrong, right?
Yes, exactly. I mean, I get it to a degree, it isn't as action packed and whatever, but I really liked it. I think it's really good. I've ended up with it on 3rd in my ranking, if you want to know. Well, that's the
below Fury Road and Mad Max 2.
Yeah. Still good ranking there, but 2 is just 2's a classic and 1's the banger. You know what I mean? Very different film. I think anyone trying to compare it to Fury Road, that's automatically going to be the problem. And I think by the time you get to End of Furiosa, the movie just sort of treats Fury Road as the dessert after this, but this is the main movie. It's and then that action scene that you remember happened, but whatever. Anyway, all this stuff was more important. But this is as the title calls it, it's a saga. It's not a Fury Road nearly plays out in real time to a degree. And this film takes place over 15 years or whatever it is. It does have some really fantastic action set pieces, including the main one with the flying people or the flying
with the war rig.
Yeah, the war rig, that was really, really good. That was probably the best, I think, straight up action scene in the movie. And this movie doesn't end with an action scene. It ends with sort of a chase, but no, it doesn't end with a big block, bombastic action scene, because I don't think it needed to. Instead, it ends with this, showdown between Furiosa and Dementors in a different sort of way. Can you make it epic? But yeah, I think it's just a fantastic character study of a film. Even though I think Anya Taylor-Joy does a fantastic job of bringing so much to Furiosa, even though she only has 30 lines or whatever it is in the movie. Does so much with her face and her eyes, and even the younger girl, who's, I don't know her name off the top of my head, but who plays the younger Furiosa. Similar story, all those shots of her sitting in the cage.
Ayla Brown.
Yeah, okay. She, when she's sitting in the cage there at night and all that sort of stuff, with the mask on when she's first captured and whatever else, Like she's just saying a lot there that, like, you know, the moment she starts, kind of like deep in spoilers, but the moment she starts, like, has an idea about how to potentially track away back to the Green Place. You know, it does just a lot of visual storytelling, not like speaking it out loud for you, which is really cool. The movie both, I guess, introduces and has these characters come back from Fury Road, and I don't think any of them feel like just shoot in like little Easter eggy things. It's just sort of the expansion of this world that felt so interesting in Fury Road. So, you know, I don't feel like when you're like, man, I didn't really need to know how the organ mechanic got from A to B, but like it doesn't feel like it just feels like, they're like that could make sense and whatever, it works. What was I gonna say? And then, yeah, like Dementus is a you know, a really terrible villain in all the best ways. I think Chris Hemsworth does a really good job. I think I looked at the picture of Witcher recently. Does a really good job at playing that villain and bringing something new to the world of Mad Max. But also I think in this we get to see a Morton Joe with a new light. Not the way that makes him a good guy, but, you know, far from it. But like getting to see him play off a different villain gets to show that, like, the different type of cunning villain he is compared to someone like Dementus, which is just sort of like a Borderlands-ish, you know, straight up just psycho, you know, dude who thinks he's the fucking Roman emperor of the wasteland on a fucking chariot cart out there. And the Morton Joe's like, you know, he's once playing checkers, once playing chess, really. But yeah, no, I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I can't wait to rewatch it because I just think there was a lot going on throughout of it, and there's just so much more. But I mean, you know, you're in for a different ride, I think, within the first 15 minutes of this. Like the way that initial chase with the mother at the start of the movie is paced out, like the fade ins, fades out, and all that sort of stuff. The stopping, no soundtrack, like getting to see them scavenge the bikes as they break down and all that sort of stuff. Like we haven't seen, you know, like, yeah, I thought that was like a really great way. I loved the opening of the film. I thought it was fantastic. I mean, that really set the tone for the rest of it, I think. So, yeah, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I don't love it. I think like I'd love Fury Road, you know, at least on this watch. Yeah, I mean it's fantastic looking, exceptional work by Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth. I think he plays an interesting villain and very against. Well, obviously it's against type because he's a bad guy. But especially, yeah, like you're comparing him to a Morton Joe. This feels like an Elon Musk type, a guy who occasionally stumbles into a win, and then everybody claims he's some sort of genius or, you know, tactical mastermind. When occasionally he just kind of accidentally stumbles into wins, but also does fucked up things to people for his own whims. Yeah, I think this movie is interesting. I think this movie owes a lot to George Miller's last movie, 1,000 Years of Longing,
which I still haven't watched.
Just story structure wise, 3,000 Years of Longing.
I've got it ready.
Yeah, that's not a surprise. But that movie was obviously like a bunch of short films, I guess, or short stories within like a larger story. And that kind of is what this is. It's like, obviously, you've got the obvious title cards and that kind of stuff. But, you know, you're seeing different segments of Furiosa's life over the course of the film, which is, you know, interesting. There's some really cool passages of time, including one segment where they're like focusing on like a tree out of a cliff, which was a really cool visual. Yeah, I mean, both the Furious, the young girl who played Furious is really great for what, you know, she's needed at the start. Interesting, like, yeah, I just enjoyed like the expansion of the world, I guess. Like, that's cool.
You get to see Bullet Town, and you get to see
Bull Farm and
whatever,
Gas Town and all those. Yeah, and just kind of what people appreciate in the wasteland, I guess. Yeah, really fantastic. I mean, yeah, it's probably going to play a little bit different to Australians because you're like, oh, that's what's his face from that thing. Oh, the guy who kidnaps Furiosa at the start is apparently it's the dude from the Dare commercials.
Yep.
And that's one of the Umbilical Brothers.
Yeah,
Oh,
one of the Umbilical Brothers is like one of the main characters.
I don't know main characters.
I mean, secondary characters.
Secondary characters. Yeah, and this is there's Angus Sampson, of course. You know.
Yep.
And of course they put Elsa Pataki in this film.
Yep. Two characters.
It's a family project. 2 characters. Crazy.
Yeah, so she plays two characters. She plays the woman at the start, and then she plays the woman with the fucked up like upper lip jaw thing that wins that like sadistic game that Dementor's plays, and then she joins the gang. Yeah, that's her as well. George
was given a lot of giving a lot of people double duty.
Yeah,
specifically, I guess Lockie Hume is the one that got the biggest, 2 roles, or like 2, at least 1 big role and another role. Although I do admit, I didn't realize he was playing a Morton Joe till the credits rolled. That was just a Morton Joe,
I knew it was a different person because I watched some stuff recently with him
I'm sure that helped.
like red carpet and him talking and.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, some of the spectacles, like chase sequences, I think, the war rig sequence, them, I guess, escaping the bullet farm.
I like the whole. I think the whole bullet farm sequence is really good because it plays. It's not just an action scene. It's like when you play it out, like there's so much story happening within that. I can't go into it without spoilers, but like from start to finish, there's a lot of story happening within that whole action sequence.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, because it's also, I think I saw somebody say this movie is a revenge movie. This is the story about how Furiosa gets revenge on somebody, and it's a very fucked up but satisfying revenge that she enacts.
And then what's the second film? Well, the first film, Fury Road. It's actually her redemption story. So they played it backwards.
So, incredibly looking. The screenplays looked incredible at the start of the movie. I'm like, fuck. No wonder everybody wants to come back here. Imagine this place in the wastelands. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
How does nobody notice that? It's so green.
I like that zoom in though, because like to show how like relatively a small
one to make sure you know it's Australia.
It is within the larger entirety of the wasteland. Like it zooms in, and like I'm like, this is Australia, motherfuckers, for all you fucking Americans that kept being like, no, it's not. Yeah, but like it zooms into such a like big splodge of like nothingness wasteland, and then you see that little bit of green, but like that's it.
Yeah, Furiosa, it's fantastic. Obviously the big story this week, Furiosa not doing gangbusters at the box office.
Yep, these are all terrible.
Is that the story? Is it just that everybody out there is terrible and then go see this movie? Or what? What?
Yes.
I mean, what? It did 30. I had the numbers up here before. I think it's tied for number 1, is what I saw just recently, in the US with Garfield of all things, for opening this weekend. But here in Australia, it made 2,226,000 US, which is on par with a lot of other opening weekends for this year, at least here in Australia.
Yeah, but I
just don't understand.
This should have done better than that.
Why do you think,
I don't know.
Is there any rationale?
I mean, we talked about it last week, right? I mean,
yeah.
Sort of, I think the entire conversation last week about cinema, like,
but I mean, this is a known property. It's the follow-up to a beloved film. Is it just because it's a prequel? Is it because Anya Taylor-Joy is not a big enough star?
I think it's because
Do
people
people just hate sand?
I think people hate movies. I'm just gonna say it again. COVID ruined movies. Full stop. That's my belief.
Yeah, I mean, I think people don't like paying for movies anymore.
People don't like paying for movies, and people don't like going to movies. People want to be able to watch the movies on their phones. I think I don't care how old man it makes me sound. Like COVID ruined movies, and TikTok and Instagram Shorts ruined movies. And not specifically they ruined movies, but I definitely am of the belief that short form content has ruined people's minds. That the idea of watching a film is like, oh,
if
why
it's more
would
than
I do
9
that?
minutes, I'm upset.
Yeah,
and yeah, fucking hell, it's
it's a sad state of affairs.
It's a sad state of affairs because odds are we will not get another.
I feel like we might if he.
Well, no.
Like the thing is, he might not get as much money, but
No. I don't think we will be
like
getting.
If he said to a studio,
blockbusters
"Hey
like
guys,"
this very much anymore.
Like he's what 80-7 or some shit. I don't know. He's old. He's surprisingly old, given
he's
how,
very experienced.
Yeah. If he went to a studio and said, "Hey guys, I want my last movie to be the Mad Max Wasteland. This will be my last film. I know Furiosa didn't do as well as you'd hoped, but can I have a bucket of change to make this?" I reckon people would sign on. Like if he was like, "This is my last movie." He's 79 years old. Like I know he gets around fine and all, but like I mean 79, like, and he wouldn't make it for. I guarantee he'll probably want to make
79
something.
and doing those shoots.
No, I reckon if I was to predict, I don't want to try to predict, like, because in a world George Miller keeps making movies, but the reality is reality, right? I reckon he makes something else, not Mad Max, and then hopefully if he's able, because he said he wants to, whether or not he wants to make it his last movie, but I think he makes something else that's not Mad Max, and then like that Mad Max final film is like that's him in his mid-80s at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, weird.
No, I just don't think we'll be getting as many big blockbuster movies going forward. That unless they're attached to an IP.
Yeah.
Like a massive IP, like your Marvel or your DC.
Even those are doing
or Star Wars.
Even those, when they come out, people say they bomb.
I mean, it's going to be an interesting 12 months. Like, I think everybody in the industry is looking at Deadpool and Wolverine and going, how is that going to do? Because if that doesn't do, I don't know, at least Guardians of the Galaxy 3 numbers, I think people are going to be very, very concerned about the future of cinemas. Which is crazy, because 12 months ago, we were like, fuck, cinemas are back. Everybody loves going to the movies. Everybody's coming for Barbie and Oppenheimer. Everybody went out and saw, Minions. Top Gun saved the cinema. We thought we were all still riding high. And, I don't know. Is it just people being turned off by, the strikes recently? All this kind of talk and just, I don't know. It's rough. I mean, all this talk is made, in my mind, is made it very interesting, and because obviously I was maybe going to talk about this later. Obviously, Rian Johnson came out this week and announced the third Knives Out film. I'm like, fuck, did he make the right move?
What?
Putting these on Netflix,
Yeah, but they go to cinemas.
They're getting made. They're going to continue to get made.
He made a deal with the devil, and he met in the middle. Netflix was like, we'll give you the money. You got to make Netflix movies, though. And he's like, yeah, but I want I need a 2-week run in the cinema. And they were like, okay.
Yeah, and those that 2-week run arguably has probably done better than a lot of the opening movies of this year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the other interesting point around this is, people have been saying, Furiosa might not have done good at the box office, but it's got massive cultural influence. People keep talking about it. Meanwhile, Atlas released on Netflix. Nobody's talking about that.
Well, no, the only stuff I've seen about Atlas is people saying it's absolutely terrible, and yet it's the most streamed thing.
And yet it's the most streamed thing. To which I would say, cultural impact does not pay the bills.
No, and it's not like people are watching it. I don't think people just. I guarantee it's just mostly people being like, new Netflix movie. They chuck it on in the background while they're
banging.
Yeah, sure. Or something, like no one's sitting down going, man, let's put on the surround sound, let's dim the lights, get the popcorn. We're watching Atlas, baby.
I'm sure there's J-Lo diehards.
Well, yeah, there probably is, but
all right. But what we're saying is go see Furiosa.
Yes.
I mean, if you're Australian and you didn't go see Furiosa, you should be ashamed.
Yeah, I reckon you fucking hand in your card.
Your passport, your citizenship.
Yeah, I reckon.
I will say I didn't end up seeing it till Saturday night.
Yeah,
which probably ended up pretty good because I went to see it with a reasonably full crowd. And they were all reasonably respectful.
I had 2 people in line, so
yeah. Well, if you listen to Arcade Couch Between the Cushions, that's probably for the best.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
All right. So I watched the new documentary on Disney Plus about the Beach Boys called The Beach Boys. So if you don't know, the Beach Boys were a band formed in 1961 that comprised 3 brothers.
Hold on, just pause for 2 seconds. Before I forget this story, I want to say the funniest thing that's happened to me this week, which is that, because you're talking about an old band, right? I was talking to someone at work today, not yesterday, and I said, like Keith Richards, and I began talking for a little bit, like continuing on my point or something like that. And at some point,
about old people.
This I can't remember. No, it was something else to do with like how drug addicts can survive for long or something. And then this girl who I think's like 23-ish or something goes, "I'm sorry, I have no idea who you're talking about." And there are times in my life now where I am so oblivious to the fact that like, and then someone hits me or something like that, and it just makes you feel
old,
so old, like. Who is Keith Richards? I couldn't. But anyway, yeah, continue. It's fucking ridiculous.
I mean, that kind of makes sense. I mean, when's the last thing Rolling Stones related came out?
But Keith fucking Richards is from the Rolling Stones, one of the greatest rock bands of all time. They named a fucking magazine after him.
She probably would have understood who Mick Jagger was.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about Mick Jagger though. And if she did, it would be like, like the guy from that song. You got the moves like him, hey? Like, yeah, probably. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
that's what it's been.
That's what I'm talking
degraded to.
Yeah.
But yes, I watched the Beach Boys documentary. So yeah, obviously a band from the 1960s. Was where they're prominent. So the documentary kind of follows them grow the brothers. I guess Brian Wilson, Dennis Wilson, Carl Wilson, as well as their cousin Mike Love and their friend who's also in the band, Al Jardine. From the beginnings, doing songs in the surf era, So in Southern California, there was a big culture of like surfing movies and that kind of stuff. There's there's that type of music, the surf music, the song that the Black Eyed Peas. So they play this. They play the song, and I'm thinking there's that Black Eyed Peas song that they've sampled.
No, yes. So, the fact that that's your reference, like that's the sample.
That's the song. I don't know what the song's called. The original song.
Yeah, but the original song was in Pulp Fiction, and whenever I hear that song, I just go, the song from Pulp Fiction. And you go, like that song they sampled, the Surfer song. I'm like, it's not a fucking Surfer song. It's the song that was on the Pulp Fiction soundtrack. But anyway.
Well, it was a Surfer song. But yeah, they kind of broke into that scene despite everybody in the band except Dennis having no interest in surfing at all.
I don't even like
yeah.
movies. I make this podcast, so
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, kind of chronicles them to becoming like a big deal. Massive artists, like America's band for a period of time, through to kind of competing with the Beatles, for popularity and that kind of stuff. And like obviously, it's really interesting. Like Brian Wilson was like the key composer and writer of the music, and that kind of stuff. And he, did not enjoy touring. So it got to the point where he didn't go on tour with the rest of the band. He just stayed, at home and started working on the next album. While, all the guys went out and like, enjoyed the tour life and the perks with that, with like extra people coming in to fill in for Brian Wilson and that kind of stuff. Yeah, kind of chronicles, Pet Sounds, which is obviously, a beloved album, but was like pretty much left to die by the American label, who like didn't advertise it at all. Instead, was like advertising one of their best album instead of their latest album, despite it being a massive hit in Europe, and kind of obviously Pet Sounds being something that Brian Wilson put a lot of care and love into. It's interesting. The documentary is interesting. Obviously, it is not a in-depth look at the Beach Boys and that kind of stuff. There's obviously large swaths of periods of time that they, like kind of, gleam over, I guess. They do go into the family relationship and that kind of stuff because their dad was like their manager for a long period of time. And it's interesting because they've got like interviews with like their mother, like recorded, like archived interviews. And she like clearly states like their dad was like jealous of their success and of Brian Wilson's like genius or whatever. And they've got like archive footage of them like having arguments in the booth between them and that kind of stuff. So that's interesting to listen to. I don't know if I knew this, but Dennis Wilson wrote a B song, or like a B-side song for the Beach Boys with one Charles Manson. And it was his house. That was the house that Charles Manson sent the people to. That was probably explained at some point, but
yeah, that's a bit like he didn't actually know. Like, well, he did eventually, but put him in reference. You know how in remember in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yeah, that's
that's
exactly the reference.
Okay, right. I was going to say, you know how he comes there and he thinks it's someone else's house?
Yeah, he thinks it's Dennis's house.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they mentioned how he feels responsible, kind of, for like introducing Charles Manson to the world and that kind of stuff. And yeah, it kind of documents the popularity of the band going forward, how the dad fucked them on the publishing deal by selling all their songs to somebody else and that kind of thing, thinking they were about to go downhill instead of about to find a second wind and that kind of stuff. So yeah, a really interesting look as someone who has heard Beach Boys songs, but is not familiar with the story of the Beach Boys. But for, I'm sure, diehard Beach Boys fans, this is probably going to be, known information. So yeah, I recommend. It's an interesting watch if you're into music docos and that music history and that kind of thing. So check that out on Disney Plus. Let's jump into the latest installment of the stand-up section. Dylan, you watched Guy Montgomery. My brains are blowing me crazy.
Well, I want to say, I want to clarify something. The reason I had this on my watch list, I want to watch this. There's a story to this also, but okay. I want to clarify. The reason I watch this is because we're getting to the Netflix segment, and I watched a Netflix thing and then stand up, and I went, "That was shit." And then I was like, "Let me watch something else that I'm gonna hopefully cure me."
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up here. So we're talking about that in a minute, but yeah, Guy Montgomery, very funny. So Guy Montgomery, stand-up comedian I hadn't heard of until last year. I saw him on Thank God You're Here.
Probably? Oh, okay.
No, but he Yeah, he has been on Cheap Seats. You're correct. He has been on Cheap Seats, but yeah, you love how that's my one show. Like you must
That's
see
your
it,
one Australian weekly TV show.
a normal TV.
Normal TV.
No,
Airs
hold
on
on.
free-to-air.
Hold on. I watch Cheap Seats. I watch the weekly. No, not the weekly. The news review. The ABC one. That's funny. That's like 16 minutes, but anyway, that's that show. And I watch Four Corners because I'm old.
Yeah.
So yes, that is.
You and all the Keith Richards remembers watching Four Corners.
Yep. So that's fuck me, right? Anyway, yeah. So watched Thank God You're Here. He was sorry on that. I was like, oh, this guy's pretty funny. He was on it twice, maybe. Maybe I'm
I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah.
And then the other thing I haven't checked into, I forgot because for two reasons: A, because I didn't watch it legally, and B, I'm going to tell the story anyway because I was scrolling through TikTok, right? This thing I just talked shit about, but it's fine.
The thing that's ruining movies, yeah.
Yeah, so I partake, but it hasn't corrupted me. Okay, so I was scrolling through there the other day, and my recommendations are a lot of Australian things and cute animal videos and shit. And it started showing me some clips from the show he did, Guy Montgomery's Spelling Bee.
Yep.
Yes, which I believe is coming to ABC supposedly soon, but it came out like a little while ago because it's a New Zealand show.
Mm-hmm.
And then because of the way I think your phone and your internet just connects in and it knows what you're doing at all points in time, and because I watched a few of these TikToks, and then obviously I watched one, I was like, that's funny, and I liked it, and I was like, man, I want to watch this show, and then it showed me another TikTok. I was like, that's a funny clip too, I want to watch this show. So then I go to YouTube one day, my YouTube recommendations comes up, and it's like a 2-minute clip from Guy Montgomery's Spelling Bee. I was like, oh, I'll watch this clip. So I watched the clip and I was like, oh, it's funny. Looking forward to watch this show. Hopefully it comes to Australia soon. The autoplay is someone had uploaded the entire fucking show. The autoplay. Now, I'm not ashamed to admit, I let that autoplay keep on playing. And I've watched all of Guy Montgomery's Spelling Bee, thanks to someone who uploaded it on the internet. Very funny show. So I would suggest watching that when it comes to. I think it's coming to ABC iView directly. I think is what I was googling.
That makes sense.
I don't think they're putting it on TV. It's just going to iView, but yeah, it's a very funny show. I mean, it's literally just like he's the host, and he does like it's like was it 4? Yeah, 4 comedians. It's a spelling bee, and he has like little games in between. It's quite funny. I very much enjoyed it. But how am I tying all this together? So A, that's funny. B, yeah, this stand-up special is very good. He does a whole tangent at the end, which I quite liked, about how he's like, he does a good tangent about how he's like being a true feminist because he does the Bechdel test in real life. So he goes out of his way to track down 2 women who he's like I was like watching 2 women in a park. And like I heard him say, "Hey Sarah," or "Hey Mary." He's like, "Oh fuck, that's it. I know their names. That's part 1 of the test." And then I was waiting to see if they'd talk about a man, but then all I heard him say was, "Who's that guy in the bush?" Ah, it was me, of course. Like it's just, it's just this whole funny bit, but also it ties into the fact that he'd gone on this massive walk trip to go to Peter Alexander to get pajamas because his stepdaughter like made fun of him for not having pajamas, and then this whole charade about how overpriced Peter Alexander are, which they are, and funny charades throughout all of it. But I would highly suggest it. It was very funny. I quite enjoyed it. He's probably one of my favorite comedians I've discovered in the last 12 months, I'd say. Guy Montgomery.
All right.
I think he's very funny.
You also watch Shane Gillis, Beautiful Dogs.
Yeah, so I watched this because I watched his shitty Netflix show, which
we'll talk in a second.
Spoilers, shitty. So this is the guy who got fired from SNL. And I didn't know anything about him other than that, I guess. And then I saw that Tide show pop up, and then I saw people say that like it's getting renewed. I'm like, oh, I guess I'll check it out. Because I was sick, let's not forget. So I'm also like looking for mindless
for
stuff
garbage, yes,
at this time. Yeah, so I was like, they'll do it. And I think I watched 3 or 4 episodes, and I was like,
you watched 5.
No, I finished it. I forgot to check into the last one. But I think I watched like half the show, like because they're only like 20-minute episodes, right? So I think I watched like the first 3 episodes and went, is this like in tone with his stand-up? Is what I was wondering. You know, like, is it the same? Because is this it? Because like it's not really doing much for me. So I was like, oh fuck it, I'll go watch. I saw he had a recent stand-up on Netflix. I'll just go watch that. And it is like the stand-up in the show is very much in time with this. Just not for me, I guess. I don't like. It's not. I don't know. Like it's just I don't know. What do you want to call that typical like the comedy where a lot of the jokes are just built around like the world being too PC and like that sort of stuff, right?
Anti-woke.
Yeah, well, not like I don't think he goes that far, but it's just a lot of like, it's like it's that I think it's that thing that sort of annoys me where there's a lot of comedians now who
edgy comedian.
Yeah, well, no, I just think there's a lot of comedians who think they're like really like pushing the envelope, right? They're like, man, I'm doing some crazy shit. I'm really pushing what we can joke about. But it's like 20 of them all making the same sort of jokes. I'm like, well, you can't all be like, that's like none of these are really pushing the envelope. You're just making the same like variation of jokes. But also his humor is very like, it's definitely more guy centric, very like bro-y vibes, like even just the tone and delivery or whatever. I can see why people like him. He has a very like personable delivery and tone, stage presence, I guess, like very like that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, nothing super against him or anything. It's just not for me. And yeah, put a pin in tires, I guess, but spoilers, it's not for me either.
Well, yeah. Let's get into it in the mandatory Netflix segment of the show. Talk to me about tires.
Yes, I know where this show came from.
Is it a show about Kieran and his car?
I mean, it could be. It's a throwback, like it's a throwback. It's a show.
It's a workplace sitcom, right?
It's a workplace sitcom, 100%, and it's just it has like four. There's like 3 main male characters and then like 2 supporting main characters. And this is what I mean about like broy vibes and everything. There's a girl character that works as like the secretary, and you can tell she was just like, oh fuck, it's old dudes. Like we gotta get someone in like at the last second to to groove in. But yeah, it's just a lot of like he's not the main character, even though he's credited first, which is also another thing that really annoys me about this show. Like he's the annoying co-worker, which he's the second character for sure. But there's a character called Will who's actually the lead character, and he's the manager of the tires store. And the main storyline of the show is that he's just terrible in this place, doesn't make a lot of money, and he got the job from his dad who like owns the chain of like tire stores or whatever. And then the mechanic stores or whatever, or it's not a tire store, it's a fucking it's a store that does fix your oil or whatever else. But I mean every episode they do a whole episode where the big thing is he's like, man, we'll do a bikini car wash and that'll bring in money. They like anytime it's just dick and fart and fucking jokes. I don't know, like that's it. I don't know what else to tell you. Like it's just dude humor. I don't I don't know how else to.
All right. You've also watched Ashley Madison, Sex License Scandal.
Yeah, that was pretty good. This has some of those. This has some of those not stand up. The Netflix doco things where there's some really just sort of outlandish characters. I'm sure the filmmakers themselves.
I've seen the meme, or like I saw the screen cap of the dude going. What is it? What's the catchphrase? Like tagline?
I was like the original one where it was something like, but make monogamy something or other. I don't remember. Yeah,
I can't remember. Yeah,
but everyone thinks it's wood or whatever. Was it that one? Was it the dude jumping into the pool?
It's the dude trying to figure like talk himself into getting and having an affair.
Oh, right. Yeah, well, yeah,
It's
so
like-
it follows...
They're right about this, so they must be right about having an affair.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, well, it follows Ashley Madison, which I guess if you don't know is the website that was around it. It was a dating site for people who basically wanted to hook up with people who were
They market
married.
themselves as wanting for people who wanted to have affairs.
Yeah, so that's the whole thing. And I remember seeing like the website mentioned, and like it's like people joke about it a lot. Like I think around when I was in high school, it was probably when it was at its biggest around that time. So like if people said Ashley Madison, you knew roughly what it was, I guess. I didn't know much about it. I had no idea who the main person was. I had no idea like what caused its downfall or anything else. So that's I think it was an interesting 3 episodes to get into that sort of stuff. And you get to see both sides of the table too. They interview a dude who, you know, just straight up sort of ruined his marriage because of going on the website. But at the same time, I'm glad that they sort of do the other that side of it, which is they actually show a couple who are in an open relationship that met on it. So you sort of then at that point you're going, well, it did like they actually need like this was a place where those
got together.
people who were interested in those open relationships, they were able to meet, and I think they were married now, and they whatever, but they met through Ashley Madison originally. Yeah, so it's all that sort of stuff, and you know, just the general like the shitty CEO giving terrible interviews, the marketing stuff that's absolutely ridiculous, all the way through to where they get hacked, and then because that's like sort of the downfall is the Ashley Madison gets hacked by people who are like, you're ruining people's lives if you don't shut down the website. We're going to release all the users' information, and they're like, we'll never. And then the hackers are like, okay then, and they just release all these people's data to the world. To the dark web, as the kids call it, and that was sort of the the end of it at that point. So,
Sorry, I found
Yeah.
the clip. The tagline is "Life is short, have an affair."
yeah.
The guy's like, "Life is short. Should I have an affair?"
really talking himself into it, you know?
Yeah, interesting because I actually I think I watched a Ashley Madison documentary last year that aired on Hulu.
Yeah. Okay.
Which was pretty good, but also like was very much in depth about the people behind the scenes. Whereas I'm assuming this one's about the people using the site.
It definitely it has one main person who's like the head of the marketing or something like that, or I don't know, something he was brought on. He's the main person I interview from the website. And then have like a couple of people who just work there, not high roles, just you know, general people
Or
that
former
work there.
employees, isn't it?
Yeah, that sort of stuff. But then I would say 60-40. Like it's sort of it's trying to be a be all sort of doco, I think.
Yeah. So that's playing on Netflix now. And you've also watched Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult.
Yes.
What have these TikToks done?
Yeah, well, I don't think TikTok was a problem, but not in this case anyway. So Dancing with the Devil, 7M. So it's another cult documentary, but
Yeah,
fucking they love a good cult doco over there at Netflix, I reckon. But yeah, so this one is just interesting because of how it starts. So it introduces the movie star, or is it a movie or was it a series? No, it was a series. Fuck, I don't know. I binged it and I kind of forgot.
Flick says it's got 3 episodes. So
yeah, that adds up. So it follows the Wilking sisters, I think is what it was. They like they had like, you know, like millions of followers on TikTok or whatever, and they do these dancing videos, and you get introduced to them at the start, and it's like they always wanted to dance, and they have, you know, home videos where their parents were recording them, always wanted to dance and whatever else, and they moved to Hollywood because they're trying to become proper dancers, but then they, you know, start this channel for fun, and it takes off, and they're really successful and all this sort of stuff. And then one of the sisters meets a guy, and the guy has a friend whose dad or something like that is this dude, and then suddenly they start hanging around, and then it's like, oh, we do prayer at our house, and they're like, okay, we don't, but we'll do that. And then he's like, man, you should come around and bring your friends here. And then he's like, man, you're getting ripped off by doing these dancing gigs, maybe I should start like a you know, a business for you, so I can look after you can spend more time dancing, and I'll spend more time looking after your business stuff. And they're like, oh, sure, we'll do that. And then they're like, yeah, but like you got to do it. You got to attend my church every week. And then he signs up, and then all doing this. And then one of the sisters is like, this is sort of weird. I'm out. Another sister hangs around. And then one of the sisters is just cuts out her whole family, like blocks them all on social media out of nowhere, like never comes back home, just moves away, hides, like family can't track them down. And then from there it's a combination of interviews with people who got out of the cult, talking about it, of course, which is always the way. And then obviously following this main family, the sister, the mom and the dad, trying to track down and get through to their daughter, because it's one of these things again where they show how, like, if you call the cops are like, it's a consenting adult that she can technically can do whatever she wants. Doesn't matter if you say it's a cult. Like, a cult's not actually illegal in America. It's it's perfectly illegal unless you find a proof to say that they're doing illegal activities, which I don't want to spoil it, but shockingly the guy's a creep. So shocking. It also may not shock you to discover at some point in the documentary that this isn't his first cult, and he had another one previously. Hey,
do they swap wives?
No, they don't swap wives in this one.
Not this cult.
Not this
Stand
cult.
out.
Not that I'm aware of. There may be.
Yeah.
The cult's still going. So
okay.
There's a growing trend of these Netflix documentaries too, where like you'll watch it all and you're like, man, that's terrible. I wonder how they're going to wrap this bad boy up. And they wrap it up just by going, yeah. So anyway, like
still
it's
out there.
still out there. Like, okay, cool. Yeah, cool. Maybe it brings more attention to it. I don't hope. I guess
like hopefully people don't get caught up in the scam.
Yeah. But it's the long takeaway is if you ever scroll through Instagram Shorts or TikTok or any of these places, I guess, and you see a dancer and you click on their profile and it says that the brand management's by 7M, they're in a cult.
Cool.
Yeah, I would suggest it though. It was fun. It was a really good time.
Really good time. All right.
No, it was good. It was good.
All right. Well, I just saw that you just checked in.
I watched it while we was recording.
You watched it while we were recording.
Yeah.
Bodkin, the full Will Forte series on Netflix.
Yeah,
Barack Obama backed.
Correct. Very weird, considering it's like set in, I don't know, fucking Wales or somewhere. I don't know. No, Ireland somewhere, I think, actually. So I think I've watched 5. Sounds about right. Something like that. Yep. Basically follows a podcaster. Yay, shout outs. Played by Will Forte, who is like going to Bodkin to like investigate. Fuck, I can't remember his original. I think he's just going to like there's rumors of like like weird stuff happening there or whatever. Some like I don't know, there might be murders or I don't know, there might be something happening there. He's just going there to do that. And then you've got this other character played by I'm gonna butcher her name, but I bet you it's like if Saoirse Ronan, it must be Shona. I have no idea. Let's find out live on the show. Because this is like one of these. Siobhan, is it?
Yep.
Siobhan Cullen. Okay. Siobhan Cullen. So she's a cop who is sort of getting pushed onto this to help out because she fucked up something with her current case, and her boss is like, just go hang out with this, stay low, keep calm. But of course she's like, these are podcasters, I'm like a serious did I say cop? I didn't mean cop. She's a like a
journalist,
proper journalist, right? So she's doing this whole thing of she's a proper journalist, they're podcasters, so they have this whole like going up against each other because of that. Then you've got this other character whose name I can't remember, but she's like she's coming along. She's great. She's like, I have this Will Forte's character is like my hero, is the best podcaster ever. I mean, within the first couple episodes, you quickly realize that the Will Forte's character has had this massive successful podcast sort of on luck. And he's trying to like recapture that success, but he's not had such luck over the last few podcast series he's done. And you also quickly find out that he owes a lot of people money and he needs this to be a success. So he's doing this out of need for money and not out of actual interest. The other girl, whose name I can't remember, it's quick throughout the series so far, gets a lot more interesting when she starts to realize that her would-be hero is actually full of shit. And she also really loves what did you say her name was? Siobhan. Siobhan, Cullen's characters, who is she really looks up to her as a journalist, except for she's a real just straight fucking old black wearing bitch for most of the show. So she just hates everyone. So, that's a good time. It's got a lot of charm. It's got that, like small village sort of island European-ish feel, I guess, similar to anything where it's like everyone knows everyone. There's one pub. Everyone like hangs out there at the end of the day for some reason. But like all small towns, the small town hides a mystery here, and I think I've basically peeled it away, see how it plays out across the final couple episodes for me. But I would say it's slow start, slow burn, definitely of a series. I really enjoy that aspect to it, though. It doesn't actually feel like a Netflix show, which is weird. This doesn't feel like something Netflix has made before, which is at least somewhat interesting. At least not something Netflix would have made with maybe a non-American English Netflix series, if that makes sense. But like for an English speaking Netflix series, this feels out of the usual sort of wheelhouse. So I would say they were pitching it as like a dark comedy. It's got a couple laughs here and there, but it's definitely more like a drama, just with some jokes every now and then. So but I'm enjoying it, yes.
Cool. So that's Bodkin on Netflix. All right, that's everything in watch history.
This is one of those weeks where I fucking carry the watch history, motherfucker.
Yeah, because you're sick and didn't do anything any week.
Yeah, get sick more, baby.
That's the message. Okay. Stay at home and watch TV. Is what.
Before you move on, let's do my new segment called "What Blu-rays did Dylan buy today in the 2-for-1 JB Hi-Fi sale?"
All right, physical media
haul today. Now, I don't do it every time I record because I only like doing it if I've just sitting here in reach, and I just brought these home. It's real. So, first release, everyone, Shin Godzilla.
Have you watched that?
I have not watched most of these. Sorry, I haven't watched this. Have you watched it?
No. I mean, I've been meaning to.
Well, if you come visit me, Ash, you can watch it. You can borrow my Blu-ray.
I'm sure it's streaming somewhere.
Fucking bet you it's not, actually. I bet you it looks a lot better on my Blu-ray inside my $700 Blu-ray player.
You can rent it on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, that's right, motherfucker. Shin Godzilla. Then I have fuck, what the fuck? Oh no, don't. I thought I lost one. A Tale of Two Sisters. This is I'll pair this up with this film, A Bittersweet Life. These are both films by Kim Ji-woon, who I didn't hear much of, but I watched what was it called? I saw The Devil earlier this year. Same director as that movie, and I quite enjoyed that revenge thriller. So I was like, I'll grab those two. I then got Prisoners of Ghostland, which is, I don't know, Nicolas Cage fighting a bunch of people or some shit. Fucked if I know. All I know is that I remember watching the trailer and being like, that looks wild. Also, it has Bill Moseley in it, and I like Bill Moseley. Then we got 2 4K discs. I got The Beekeeper, which is one of the biggest action movies of the year according to
box office.
So should watch that. So I picked that up in 4K, and then I picked up 3 movies in one box with the freshly released Ocean's Trilogy, which is released on 4K as well. So good little hole there.
What's your pick?
Well, I've only watched one.
What are you most proud of?
Well, I don't know. That's what I would say, if I was to say most like excited to watch, I would say those 2 Kim Ji-woon films.
Okay.
Because I really did enjoy that. But like obviously, literally the only thing I got here that I've watched is the Ocean's films. Like I haven't watched of any of the other movies. So, which I always find interesting because people are like, how do you why buy a movie you don't know if you like it? I'm like, yeah, but it's fine.
It's like, why do you buy a book if you don't know you like it?
Yeah. So
sometimes you just need to put your money where your mouth. Yeah, we all buy video games. We don't know if we're going to like them.
Yeah, exactly. It's fine. It's all good. Anyway, yeah, the 2-for-1 sale ends today. If you're listening now, you might still be able to get it online if you're listening when this drops. Good on you, JB, for your
to your service
but
to physical media.
your very shrinking service to physical media, but you're all I got.
All right. Let's move into, I guess, what's film news this week. And the film news is Cannes over. Everybody's talking about what was there. So we're going to talk about it in this week's top 3.
Definitely in the top 3.
This week's top 3 is top 3 movies we're excited to see from Cannes 2024. Dylan, what is your number 3?
Number 3 on my list, I've gone with Megalopolis. Megalopolis. Now, I don't really give a shit about the reviews because at the end of the day, this is it's Francis Ford Coppola's presumably final film, right? It's a movie he's been trying to make for his entire life. It's got a fantastic cast. A lot of people I really like, a lot of people I don't. But a lot of people do. So, yeah, I don't know. I still don't really have any reason to be excited other than those factors. It's nothing about the movie. It's nothing about the actual plot. It's nothing other than I'm excited to watch it because of director, writer, and there's some people in it I like.
Just the vibe.
Namely Adam Driver and Audrey Plaza, I guess.
Mm.
And then Shia LaBeouf's in it, which sort of ruins everything. But
what are you going to do? They're going to cut the scene where the person on screen is talking to somebody actually in the audience, on stage, in the cinema, in real life.
What?
Apparently, that was the thing in the film.
Is it?
Yeah, there was a scene where someone on screen interacts with somebody in real life.
Oh, I guess yeah. Well, that doesn't work. Yeah. What the fuck?
They could just leave it in.
Yeah. Fine.
Somebody every day has to fill that role.
Get up and fill it at every cinema around the world. Sure.
Yeah. My number 3 is a film called Christmas at Miller's Point. Small film. But it's directed by Tyler Taramina. Synopsis is a rambunctious extended family descends upon their small Long Island hometown for the holidays. Before the evening is over, 2 teenage cousins take advantage of their chaos to sneak out in the wintry night and make the holiday their own. We're big fans of Christmas movies here at the Explosion Network. We have a Christmas podcast even called Very Explosion Network Christmas. Yeah, the reviews on this one were pretty solid. People calling it a fun, wholesome movie. Where did I pull that statement? Hang on.
A fun, wholesome movie.
The mood is as warm and tense as a hug with somebody you've always known, but may never have seen again. Every moment at once, both fleeting and forever. It's also got a very interesting cast, including Francesca Scorsese, Michael Cera, Elsie Fisher from 8th grade, and it's also got what was it? Sawyer Spielberg.
Sure.
So nepotism in the movie. So yeah, I'm keen to watch that hopefully this Christmas season. Dylan, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is The Shrouds, the David Cronenberg film. Which I don't know. Again, I've apparently the film is heavily about his wife's passing, or that was the motivation, or the what the story sort of based on, what he went through with the loss of his own wife. He lost his wife to cancer, I think. But yeah, the movie's getting mixed reviews, which is, again, it's a Cronenberg movie. I don't really give 2 shits there. But yeah, typical sort of thing for him. Apparently, body horror, lots of sex, weird shit, good times. So I'm keen.
All right. My number 2 is a movie called Emilia Perez, which apparently is a musical crime comedy film, in which a woman played by Zoe Saldana is tasked with assisting an escaped Mexican cartel leader in undergoing gender-affirming surgery in order to evade the authorities and affirm her gender. It won the jury prize. It also won the female ensemble won jointly the Best Actress award, which I don't think I've ever seen before. yeah, just a lot of combination of different things there that look really interesting, sound interesting. Selena Gomez is in it. Edgar Ramirez is in it. Yeah, I'm sounds weird, but also kind of weird that I would be interested in seeing. So yeah, that's my number 2. Dylan, what is your number 1?
It's a Nora.
My number 1 is also a Nora.
Shocking. Obviously the Palme d'Or winner for this year. I mean, I probably would have picked it as number 1 either way. I guess it's Sean Baker's new film. I didn't love Red Rocket as much as his other films, but that won't ruin me because I still appreciate it for what it was. But yeah, this looks more like his other few films really enjoyed. At least from what I gather, which is it's just more of an intimate sort of less with more confined time frame and everything like that for a story. Mikey Madison's apparently really good in it. Everyone's been praising it. I got nothing. Give it to me.
Yeah, everything but like the review scores on this is crazy. Crazy high, like in pretty uniform. I think a lot of people be like, oh, it's really surprising the best reviewed movie is the one that wins the Palme d'Or, because that usually isn't what happens. But that is the case this year. From what I heard, it's kind of a fucked up Cinderella story. Where, two people, they think they found the fight. No, it's Cinderella, but then you continue the story after, and it's all fucked up. Involving Russian oligarchs and all that kind of stuff, so sounds like an interesting time. Obviously it is very beloved, so definitely keen to watch this one. Was there anything else from the festival that caught your eye?
I can't remember the movie's name, but no, fuck, if you've got one I'll find it, so I'm not.
I mean, Kinds of Kindness got mixed reviews, but I'm still very keen to watch that. Interesting to hear that it's like a series of short films kind of, and is closer to more of Yorgos's earlier work, which I guess makes sense because this one isn't written by Tony McNamara, so it would be closer to probably some of the earlier stuff he did without Tony McNamara. But obviously Jesse Plemons won the Best Actor award, but apparently it was a very thin field of good actors, or good male actors is what I'm saying. So that was one. Rumors, starring Cate Blanchett, apparently is a very weird political satire in which a bunch of world leaders find themselves lost in the woods and have to deal with zombie-like creatures and giant brains. Very satirical, apparently. So that's also another interesting one to me.
My other main one was The Substance.
Yes, I've seen a lot of talk about that one. I saw the teaser.
I haven't seen the teaser. Is there a teaser online?
It just kind of sets up the premise of what The Substance is, I guess. Or the
It's
substance
apparently
in
about
the
like
movie.
a celebrity who's like aging and like wishing to be younger or whatever. Then,
yeah, it's like The Substance is Ozempic, but it's even better.
Yeah. Apparently Demi Moore gives like one of her best performances in it. Also, people have been saying so.
Cool. So yeah, Cannes, another successful year. But I tell you what, now that Cannes over, it's a good time to catch up on our What Do You Want to Watch movie fantasy game. Of course, at the start of the year, we picked a bunch of movies. We drafted a bunch of movies each, earning points based on the Rotten Tomatoes critic score and a box office placement. And then we've also picked films from certain film festivals, Cannes being the most recent one. So when we last checked in before Cannes,
With our heroes, yeah.
Dylan was sitting on 81 points, and I was sitting on 56 points. The tables have certainly turned. Dylan is now sitting on 95 points, and I've jumped up to 135 points.
Yuck. Who fucked me and why did they do it?
To be fair, like the last time we recorded was right before Challenges and Fall Guy released. So I got a fair number of points. Like Challenges is sitting at an 80 on an 80, so it's like 20 points. Fall Guy,
No one watched
71.
Fall Guy.
That got 11 points. And of course, Furiosa just released, which sitting at a 79, which gives me 19 critic points. But the real point of difference right now, actually, is the picks from Cannes. Dylan picked Kinds of Kindness, which is sitting at a 66. So he gets 6 points. And he also picked Megalopolis, which got 46. And because it's a wildcard entry, he's earned 0. He doesn't lose any points, thankfully. But my picks were The Apprentice, which has got a score of 68. So I get 8 points. But my other pick was Anora, which is sitting at an 88, which is earning me 36 points right now. So,
how did you get away with that?
You had the first 2 picks. You chose those 2 movies first.
You fucked me. I reckon you set me up.
Did not. You know, you fucked yourself by choosing crazy movies.
They're my favorite time.
But yeah, I mean, that could change. You know, once you get a wider release, all the haters will come out, and we'll get, you know, lower scores. Interesting enough, of our original picks at the start of the year, we've only got 2 each confirmed to come out this year. So I've still got Bad Boys Ride or Die and Deadpool Wolverine, and you've got Joker, Foiler-Do. Can't remember how to pronounce it.
Foiler-Do.
And Inside Out. So still anybody's game. And we've still got a couple more film festivals and some more mid-year picks to make in like another month or 2. So yeah, it's a interesting race so far. All right, let's you want to say something? How you're losing so much? All right, let's give some thumbs to trailers. Of course, you find all the trailers we're about to talk about in the show notes below. Kicking things off with Presumed Innocent, created by David E. Kelly, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, Ruth Negga, Bill Camp, Elizabeth Marvel, Renate Rensby, Peter Skarsgård, O.T. Fagbenley, Chase Infantini, Lily Rabe, Nana Mensah, and Matthew Allen. A horrific murder upends Chicago's prosecuting attorney's office as one of its own is suspected of the crime. Dylan, what do you think of trailer 4? Presumed Innocent.
Yeah, it looks really good. Double thumbs up. I'm not sure. Is this based on anything or like what's the?
I think it is based on a book from memory, which itself was turned into a film at some point. I think I read.
Yeah, interesting. No, really, I think the pitch is good. I think the setup's good. Like, I like that, you know, like the fact that obviously it's not that whole thing of like, oh, trying to keep the secret the whole thing, the whole show, and like, you know, the secret's out there. It's like, well, I did have an affair, but then I'm like, I'm confused if I was supposed to be doubting him or if like I'm actually on his side. Was there anything? I'm like, am I like, is the point that we're supposed to doubt him and be like, maybe he's lying, or are we like on his side the whole time going? Like, he's fucked. Like, how is he? But we know he's telling the truth that he didn't actually murder her. But how do we get him out? Like, how's he going to get out of this?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. 2 thumbs up. I think the trailer did a good job of. Well, it might have overdid it with the nailing home of the, you know, I didn't kill her. You know, I didn't kill her. It was me. What's the line? Didn't I hit her? Yeah, I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal, cast looks really good. Yeah, I think the trailer is just cut really well. So, yeah. So this one is coming to Apple TV Plus on 12th of June. And yes, there was a movie based on the same book by Scott Turow, starring Harrison Ford in 1990.
What was that called?
Presumed Innocent.
Oh, I've seen that. I can't remember how it ended, though.
Well, that works out for you, doesn't it?
Fucking hell.
Next trailer is for Late Bloomers, directed by Elisa Steen, starring Karen Gillan, Margaret Sophie Steen, Jermaine Fowler, Talia Balsam, and Kevin Nealon. Louise, an aimless 20-something musician who was recently single, is injured when she drunkenly breaks her hip, The subsequent physical therapy sees her associate with people twice her age, and she meets Antonia, a Polish lady who speaks no English and is hired to be her caretaker. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for Late Bloomers?
I'll go one up, one down. I feel like it had like a charming vibe to it. Karen Gillan looks really good in this. Just I don't know, seemed for some reason just seemed like the trailer dragged a bit, or I guess it's that thing of there's not enough to really show in the trailer without just showing the whole movie, but like they tried anyway and just felt like it dragged a bit or something like that. So I'll go one up, one down, but no, it did look good.
Yeah, I'll give it one up and one down as well. There is some fun to be had here. There is an amusing element of her trying to make this lady wear diapers by wearing diapers herself, and then somebody walks in on them on her wearing diapers. But the entire time I was thrown by the fact that Karen Gillan is trying to play a 20-something when she is not a 20-something.
Which is
When I factually know she is not a 20-something.
How old is she? Let's have a look.
36.
Oh, okay. There you go.
You know? Doctor Who was a long time ago. So
True. Good point.
she's made multiple Marvel movies since then.
Yep.
So
It's a very good point.
but yeah, it looks like it'll be a fun time. This one is releasing in the US on the 7th of June. No Australian release date. Next trailer is for Exposure, created by Lucy Coleman, starring Alice Englert, Essie Davis, Mia Artemis, Thomas Weatherall, and Sean Keenan. Jax, an up-and-coming photographer, is coming to terms with the death of Kel, her closest friend. Grief-stricken, she becomes consumed with the details surrounding Kel's death, convinced she suffered at the hands of a man. Jack's search for the truth is turbulent and at times confronting as she struggles to process present-day grief whilst reckoning with the past. Dylan, what do you think of this trailer for an upcoming Stan original?
Yeah, really good. I'm gonna go double thumbs up on this. It had like a very like sort of off-putting vibe, but in a good way. You know, like dark thriller. Looks really good for something coming straight to Stan OG. You know, obviously subject matter looks like it would be dark, but yeah, I had a lot of questions. I'm like, I don't know, it feels like there's an extra layer to this onion possibly.
Yeah, definitely. Looks very interesting. 2 thumbs up from me. Interesting. I was looking up details about the movie. Screen Australia describes it as a thrilling black comedy with a gut-kicking mystery edge. Nothing in this trailer screamed comedic in any way to me. So,
no, I would agree. Yeah.
It definitely looks like a dark thriller, if anything else. But yeah, it definitely very interesting. I want to know the mystery at the core of it. What's up with the photos, all that kind of stuff. So definitely got me interested and would probably keep my Stan subscription going, probably. So this one is coming to Stan on the 20th of June. Also playing at the at least part of it is playing at the Sydney International Film Festival. So if you want to watch it there, head over to the Sydney International Film Festival website. Buy a ticket. 15th of June. Oh no, it's sold out. Never mind.
what a
turn of events.
Yeah, that was all over the place.
Thought it was a cool tie-in. Getting some ticket sales. All gone. Next trailer. My Lady Jane. Created by Gemma Burgess. Starring Emily Batter, Edward Blumell, Jordan Peters, Anna Chancellor, Dominic Cooper, and Jim Broadbent. My Lady Jane is a radical retelling of English royal history in which King Henry VIII's son Edward does not die of tuberculosis, Lady Jane Grey is not beheaded, and neither is her scoundrel of a husband, Guildford. At the center of this swashbuckling new series is the brilliant and headstrong Jane, who is shocked to be crowned queen and finds herself the target of nefarious villains coming for the crown and her head. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for My Lady Jane?
I'm going to double thumbs down. I thought it looked not funny, just really try hard. I didn't like it at all.
Okay. I go one up, one down. I think I enjoyed the tone. I enjoyed how the trailer was cut. I feel like it was maybe And I feel like this is weird to say in a trailer. I think it's like 30 seconds too long.
Yeah.
I think it kind of dragged a little bit. Like, I feel like they could have hit their points a little bit quicker, leave a little bit more intrigue and that kind of stuff. I know you do have to spend a lot of time kind of explaining the setup of the show, of it being an alternate history kind of thing, and like there's this person in English history who died, but in this show she didn't die, and it's about her. So I get that, but yeah, that was the thing that I was kind of thinking. It's like 2 minutes 40, so could have been a little bit tighter. But yeah, My Lady Jane is coming to Prime Video on the 27th of June. Last trailer for this week. Beetlejuice, directed by Tim Burton, starring Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder, Catherine O'Hara, Jenna Ortega, Justin Theroux, Monica Bellucci, Arthur Conti, and Willem Dafoe. 3 generations of the Dietz family return home to Winter River after an unexpected family tragedy. Still haunted by Beetlejuice, Lydia's life soon gets turned upside down when her rebellious teenage daughter discovers a mysterious portal to the afterlife. When someone says Beetlejuice's name 3 times, the mischievous demon gleefully returns to unleash his very own brand of mayhem. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for Beetlejuice, and are you disappointed I've said Beetlejuice so many times? It has not appeared.
I am actually very disappointed. Double thumbs up, looks really good, really keen, excited for this one. I really loved Beetlejuice when I was younger. One of my favorite memories as a kid was I got to watch it at my Nan and Pop's house. They had Ozstar, which is also known as Foxtel. Beetlejuice was on. I was loving it. I was like, this is a fucking great movie, having a great time. Scene happened where like some disgusting thing happened with Beetlejuice and my brother threw up everywhere. So, really excited.
I don't know if I've ever seen Beetlejuice, but I do remember one particular scene where Beetlejuice makes out with Gina Davis, and I'm like, that's gross. Change channel.
I mean, there's a few gross things in it.
So yeah. Yeah, I mean, two thumbs up. It looks question mark. Yeah, I'm conflicted. I'll give it 2 thumbs up. It looks like it's towing the line of, hitting the nostalgia elements, but also being something new and original. Obviously, it's the year of the sandworms, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
That's, I mean, there's part of me that's like, come on. She said don't say it. Don't say the name. She sounds like she really means it. Why are you fucking around? And I was thinking as the trailer was starting, I'm like, wow, did they just use the teaser and just make it a little bit longer? But it is completely different. Okay, but the start opens exactly like the teaser trailer we saw earlier this year. So, very intrigued. I will be watching Beetlejuice at some point before this movie comes out on the 5th of September. Hey, Dylan. This week, what do you want to watch?
Unless I'm missing something, I don't think there's anything out.
I don't know what you're talking about. Garfield is releasing Australian cinemas this week. I'm sure you're super excited.
Is it sad or like I wasn't even doing a bit yeah.
I mean, there's a couple of good documentaries. The Jim Henson Idea Man is coming out this week, and the Movie Past Movie Crash documentary is coming to binge tomorrow or today, I guess. But for weebs like me, it's all about that Haikyuu, the dumpster battle, which we're finally going to see the follow-up from season 4 on the big screen. Going to play some volleyball. It's going to spike it. It's going to be great. So yeah. All you weebs, get to the cinemas. Haikyuu, Haikyuu did gangbusters in Japan. I think it is one of the highest grossing movies this year because of how well it did in Japan.
Volleyball.
It's sitting at number 19 with $73 billion so far this year. And now is releasing internationally. So,
wow.
More than Furiosa was made.
That's
sad.
disgusting.
Harsh. All right. Yeah, I don't think there's anything really on the TV front that's new this week. Other than that Eric limited series that's, remember with the puppet and the
Yeah, I don't know.
Benedict Cumberbatch?
I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't remember loving that trailer, so
yeah,
it's fine. But...
All right, let us know what you're excited to watch this week by going to explosionnetwork.com /Twitter or jump into Discord at explosionnetwork.com/Discord. If you want to help us out here at What Do You Want to Watch, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser. Leave us 5 stars and you can leave 5 stars or just tell people about the show. And if you've enjoyed this episode, thought it was worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosionnetwork.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.